All right, here is the third skill. We are now going to bin a quantitative variable. This tends to give a lot of students the most difficulty, but it's okay. We'll get through it. Takes a little time to make sure you're doing it right. We're going to go less than 60, 60 to 64, 65 to 69, 70 to 74, 75 to 79, and 80 and older. So again, since we're going to do a transformation, we need to make sure we have our original data set. We're going to come here to transform. We're going to go to bin. I'm going to click over here to, we're going to bin age. And so this is probably one of the things you got to do. So when you see this, there's one level, 2 levels, 3 levels, 4 levels, 5 levels. There's 6 levels. Right now we have 2 levels. So to get to 6 levels, we're going to need to add, I believe, 4 more breaks. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. I believe that's 6 levels now. So you see there are 6 levels. Now the labels, you can type in whatever you want. These levels here are in interval notation, which is actually quite nice because interval notation is an exact mathematical write-up, and it complements what's ever over here perfectly. The way I usually like to start on this is I come here and I start with my highest level. So it says 80 or older. So I'm going to type in here, I'm going to type in 80. That's going to be 80 or older. This is saying x is greater than or equal to 80, so that means x is 80 or more. And now I'm going to come over here, I'm going to see what's the next one, 75 to 79. So the thing for all, if you notice all of these intervals here, it goes x is greater than or equal to the left side, and it's always less than the right side. So if I type in 75 here, because I want 75 to 79, that's exactly what this is. This is 75. It says x is greater than or equal to 75, so it can be 75. And then x is less than 80, so it can't be 80. So the next age that would be reported would be 79. So this is 75 to 79. So what it ends up being is, so if you look at this, so now you got 70 to 74. So I can type in 70 here. When I type in 70 here, this is now going to be 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, but it's not going to get to 75. My next interval is 65 to 69, so I can type in 65 right here. And then the last interval, I believe, was 60. So if we look back at this, it should say the first interval was less than 60, 60 to 64, 65 to 69, 70 to 74, 75 to 79, and 80 or older. So you could leave this as is, because this will be exact. The only problem is not everyone that you're going to be showing this data to is going to be able to understand this interval notation here. So what I usually will do is I will rewrite this in an easier format. So this is less than 60. This one here is 60 to 64 because it's not including 65. This one is 65 to 69. This is 70 to 74. This is 75 to 79. And this is 80 or older. So the key ideas to remember here is the left side of all of these intervals will always be a greater than or equal to. So it always all of these intervals will include the left side of the interval, the lower number, but it won't include the upper number. Includes the left, doesn't include the right. So this would start at 75 and it would go all the way up to 80, but not including 80. That's why it's 75 to 79. Notice how that holds true for all of these. I hope this helps. We're going to call this one age. And it's kind of tricky on how to do these. I'm going to do 60, 65, 70, 75, 80. This tells me that this variable is focused on 60 to 65, 65 to 70, 75. It basically is focused on older people, and it's breaking them into 5-year intervals starting at 60. That's kind of how I like to look at this. It's 60, 65, 70, 75, 80. Those are my breaks. All right, so at this point, I will now create the new variable. And I will answer my last question. Create a relative frequency for my new age. So you actually will notice if you try to make a relative frequency table, you will see that the original variable age doesn't show up, only your binned variable. It's because you cannot make a frequency table of a numerical variable. You can only bin a numerical variable into a categorical variable, and then you can make a variable of it. So I'm going to generate this. And I can see that in our community, in Alameda and Santa Clara County, 4.5% of our sample, of our entire data frame actually, is 80 or older, 4.5%. So I can type that in, 4.5%. Well, I hope you got a good feel for this. If you didn't, I strongly encourage you to come to my office, sit down, and we can walk through this together, and we can probably figure out where your confusion lies. We'll also be spending a good day in class practicing all this stuff too as well. Okay.